to tell somebody that they're traditional or not traditional enough.
My wife said, why do you have makeup on your fingers?
I used to have this mentor at Diné College, Mr. Mishki. So my goal was like, I want to see a moose in the wild. So my role now is a project director of a fatherhood FIRE program. FIRE stands for family-focused interconnectedness, resiliency, and effort. So basically we're trying to, and there's 3 curriculum that I bring to the fathers inside jails. So we go in the jails, me and my team. The only program that goes in the jails, like everyone's scared. The first time I tried this program was a second chance act re-entry program. And we brought in the Fatherhood is Sacred, Motherhood is Sacred curriculum, and then Linking Generations by Strengthening Families curriculum by the Native American Fatherhood and Families Association. Big mouthful.
Can you repeat that again?
I know, right? No, say it faster. I think from that curriculum, it stabilized me and gave me more strength to go through the things that I went through, like with my daughter. I had to keep thinking to myself, I'm gonna meet her again. This is one world, there's another one. So I'm not ready to go yet. Yeah. And maybe she was so precious, they took her. You know what I mean? She was always a special child.
Your views then, from she's gone to the spirit world, do you have, what kind of fundamental beliefs do you have then?
Well, like I said, I was raised as a Mormon forever, so I know the Bible stories. I've been baptized. And then when I moved to the res, I started to follow my Nolly man, who was a roadman. So the peyote way, the Native American church way. Learned that. And then I also, on my mom's side, we had traditional medicine people. And that's how I started to learn that. And then just educating myself, reading all the creation, reading whatever I could get in my hands on about creation stories. Like, what do you mean? Because there was stories I would hear. And mind you, I had to learn Navajo like that through other people. So it was kind of hard. I'm like, what did he say? What does that mean? How do you say that? You know, and so it's hard for me to talk Navajo because I totally sound like a white girl.
Well,
but
I don't sound like a white girl. I sound like a white guy.
And I try, but you know, I can totally understand it because my Nolly man only spoke Navajo. So I got to learn, you know, a little bit. But you have to immerse yourself into it too. To get it. And so they were medicine people, and I would just go with them, and I started to have ceremonies more and more. I remember the first ceremony I had for myself was my own womanhood ceremony, the kinalta. I remember my mom saying, she goes, I'm gonna give you a choice. Do you want to have one or not? And then she was telling me how hard it was gonna be. And they go, and then she goes, now you gotta pick a mentor. Who do you want? I said, my Nolly man. And she's like, okay. And then I was like, well, I'm doing it then. I think, now that I think about it, maybe it was to impress my Nolly man because he was right there beside me doing the whole thing.
And I think it's also encouraging knowing that he has traditional values as well.
Exactly. So, I wanted to be like him.
Yep.
I wanted his patience. I wanted his teachings. I wanted his aura, you know.
You wanted his aura, and that's...
I want to be like him, you know?
I was talking to another Navajo guy on my site. Uh-oh. I'll take that off camera.
Take that one off.
I will not zoom in on that one. There you go.
Oh, my neck.
See how personal
now I'm
we
going to
get
taste like
here?
coffee.
Now whoever licks you next.
Did you get it off?
Yeah, I got
it. But yeah.
My wife said, why do you have makeup on your fingers?
But I think traditionally, I think about balance.
Yes.
So a balance of energies, a balance of harmony. And when I was preparing my daughter for her womanhood ceremony, I was like, you guys don't have a choice, you're going. You know, I didn't say you had a choice, but this is what's gonna happen, you know, and I would walk her through it. Yeah. But I told her, it's so important that you understand that you are showing the holy people that you are a woman. And now you have to present yourself as a woman. And they are gonna balance you. It's kind of like a reset button from a child where you did all the craziness or whatever.
And all that.
Yeah, but now you're a woman, and it's a reset button for you to begin to flourish as a woman, and not, you know, you're still a kid, you know, kind of. You can still do kid things, but you're learning, and you're going to have to grow to be a woman and do womanly things. Not saying you can't go hunting, you know, like guys do, or work on cars like guys do, but I'm saying that you have to present yourself as a Navajo woman. Respect yourself, you know, no ass and titties hanging out in your clothes, no ripped clothes. And the reason why is, you know, because only dead people wear that. And she goes, what do you mean? And I even told her about the rings. You don't wear them here and here because only dead people do. And she's like, what do you mean? And so I had to go back to the creation stories that I learned and said, this is what I know. Other people have other versions of it in different places. Like, I'm sure Window Rock has their own version, you know, versus Kayenta. Our story of what it is compared to people who actually live there and what it is different.
Exactly. So,
and that's okay. Like, we should appreciate the variations, the variety of history that we get. One of them that used to confuse me a lot was about changing woman and white shell woman. Were they two people? Were they one person? Was one older? Was one younger? You know what I mean? Like, the different varieties of that story, I'm just, wow, that's cool. And when I tell somebody else, it's like, well, this person said this and this person said that, but we don't really know. But you know, she's still important.
that's the complication of having oral history.
Oh yeah,
and that's the best part.
But
about
that's
oral
the beauty
history.
of it.
That's the best part, because now that's why we're natural storytellers.
I believe that there's a lot more history and wisdom and knowledge in our traditional teachings than any Western education can give you. Yep. But as a person who has Western education and traditional teachings, I can see what was before and what was after. You know what I mean? How they marry each other, how we already knew this stuff. Yep. And we just needed to apply it. Someone just wrote it in a book. Yep. And that's the big difference. And that's why I tell my kids, like, when they say, remember who you are, you're a Navajo person. Yeah. You're a Native person. This is home right here. We are so lucky to live here. Look how beautiful it is. Everybody wants to be here, you know?
What was your favorite part about the Kinada ceremony?
In any ceremony, I think it was the stretching part.
Oh, okay.
That's where my Nolly man stretched me out. And it was him, and then there was a medicine man there. Yeah. And he would sing, and my Nolly man would stretch me out, and he would tell me what I had to do. But remember, I don't know, have you been to one?
Yeah.
Okay, remember how they like do this to you? I like to do that to everybody.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And you know how they squeeze you, and you know, wherever you hurt. I remember my grandma saying, you know, massage it right here, my knees hurt or something. So you had like this power because you were a sacred being right then and there. Yeah, and that's what I was telling my daughter. I said, you're part of it. You know, you have this magic. So squeeze me really tight. And so when I started to raise my kids, I was very aware of what I said and did around them. Yeah. And I did experience domestic violence. I experienced sexual abuse when I was a child. Yeah. And I've told people about it. And people didn't react like how I thought they were going to react. Yeah. They kind of just, oh, sorry it happened to you. Moving on. It's
kind of like a taboo of
even
talking and bringing it up.
But I told my family, and I tell people all the time, because I think that's a part of the healing process. Yep. And we need to actively heal. Not just, oh, I'm healing, but not doing anything about it. Yes. And I think talking about your traumas, not all the time, you know, but in times when you need to. Yep. Like when I miss my daughter, I tell people, I need a hug. I need a joke. I need something. Somebody help me, you know? Whoa. I'm reaching out and people respond. Over the years, I have developed a group of people in my life, professionally and just from childhood, that respond to me. When my daughter had passed away, I was beside myself. Yeah. But my community came, my family came, my work people came, they dropped everything and they came. I was so moved. I didn't know what to say, even though I had a lot to say. And I was just thankful, and I'm grateful. I went to Alaska as a trip to change my narrative. So my daughter passed away June 23rd. On June 23rd, I booked a flight to Alaska. And so I didn't want it to be, this is the day my daughter died. It was going to be, this is the day I went to Alaska.
Yeah.
So I went by myself and just kind of hung out by the mountains and the water and stuff like that. I didn't really have a plan. I just wanted to go. You know, that element, changing the aura and the energy. You know what I did? I took naps.
Sometimes you gotta let your body
I think
rest.
maybe my body was, I was saying that. So my goal was like, I want to see a moose in the wild, you know, like wildly running by or something. I walked to, it's called Earthquake Park.
Yeah.
So I was in Anchorage. I was staying at a friend's place. I get there and I'm walking this huge park, which is right next to the ocean. And I remember walking there and I was like, what is that smell? And she was telling me, do you have tobacco or do you have any tutadine, some corn pollen with you? Because pray to the animal people that they don't attack you or bother you. And I was like, I have some tobacco, so I did that. But I was also wearing my arrowhead that I had blessed. I wore it the whole time I was there. And I said, I should be fine. And so I'm like walking through the forest. This is like really cool path, kind of like this, but it was dirt. So I'm cruising along, walking, and there's other tourists. We're all walking together in this big group. And a moose was coming through on the pathway. I was like, oh my God. And I really I remember somebody said, if you see a moose, get behind a tree. Yeah. They can't get around a tree. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like looking for a tree. And there's this rose bush, this big old rose bush right here. And the moose was running towards me. And I freaked out and I went to this rose bush and then it ran this way behind the rose bush. And I was like, ah, and I started running this way. And I think I was the only one running because all the tourists are all just taking pictures. I was like this crazy native just running around. The last one that should be scared, you know?
So he didn't go flying.
Right. But after that, I was like, oh, there it is. You know, my daughter finally sent my moose to me. Even though it freaked me out, but I really felt like I was the only one who tripped out, but it was funny. I got it all on video too.
Nice, nice.
There's my moose. Oh my God. Finally breathing. Holy shit, that was scary. Doing good.
Doing good. Yeah, you? Yeah. Well, I'm getting her story. Let me do Shiprock. Oh wait. Let me.
I'm not done yet. Wait your turn.
You gotta stand in line. You got like 3 guys in front of you.
I got fans.
They're only fans.
The birds are still coming.
Because I always have green chili cheeseburgers. What about I get you a green chili cheeseburger and I'll get a Navajo burger?
I'd rather have the stew, actually.
Want to get the stew?
Yeah,
All right,
steamed
cool.
corn stew.
Let's go in there. Let's see if they allow me to film in here.
Oh, it's a nice flag.
That's what it is. Hello.
I'll have steamed corn stew with fried bread.
Oh, and I'll also get a deluxe Navajo burger fries. Yes, please.
What? Navajo green chili with mushroom Swiss? Can I get that instead? I didn't see that. I know that laugh. Of course. I'm good. Just gonna have lunch. My hands are cold, I'm sorry. I'm gonna put it around your neck.
Oh, good.
Well, I like to learn, and I like to tell my kids, you know, reading makes you smarter, which means you get to learn different words, you get to learn different things. And if you learn about different religions,
Worth it. You get to walk it up now?
and some things may be very similar to what you already know in your own tradition, in your own culture, which is really awesome. That means you've made a connection. So I try to teach my kids that, you know, take what you need from different things that you like and use it. Believe in a higher power. believe in spirituality, have spirituality, because that's what's going to give you hope, especially in the darkest of times. And kids don't know it yet, what a dark time is, because mommy and daddy provide everything, you know. In religion or Christianity, whatever you believe in, as long as you believe in a higher power, that's a good thing. But don't push it on other people who don't believe the same thing as you do. Like, how is that going to make you and them happy if it collides? Yeah. And I was saying earlier that just because you believe in traditions, some people may be against it, and then some people may say you're not traditional enough, or you're not Navajo enough because you don't speak Navajo fluently. You know, I consider myself a Navajo Diné woman. I know all of my clans. I know the origin stories of all of my clans. But again, those are different variations. That's Kayenta, you know, Kayenta style. I got Kayenta dirt all up in me. But it does not mean, you know, being that proud of where I am and where I come from and what I've learned, doesn't mean I'm not open to what, wherever I'm at is not a possibility, you know, to learn. Like when I'm out here, I have some friends out here. I have people out here in the Fort Defiance area, Navajo, Crystal, all the way in Gallup, and they have different views about different things, and I love that about people. I think my big interest is learning about people and how they think and what they think. There's a lot of things that I don't, you know, necessarily agree with or believe, but I have learned to disagree, to live with it, you know what I mean, and just let it go. A lot of people won't let it go. And so it's like, who are you to tell somebody that they're traditional or not traditional enough, or not Navajo enough, or not Christian enough? You know what I mean? Let people live. Let them be.
Well, I think that's their own personal freedom to happiness as well, too.
Exactly. If it makes them happy, let it be. I used to have this mentor at Diné College, Mr. Mishke, and he would teach. He's a hardcore white guy. Tall, blonde, blue-eyed, you know, well, actually had white hair, blue eyes, a master social worker, and he's the one who got me into social work, but he would teach Taoism. And I was like, what? And we would read stuff out of there, and I was like, I was blown away by it. And
so can you explain exactly what Taoism is?
Oh my gosh, it's been so long, but there's this one quote that I love about it. What I loved about it was a part that said, go with the flow and not against it. And I was like, that makes so much sense. Because if you go against things, you're always going to hit things, you know? And I remember telling my kids, just go with the flow and not against it. And they're like, what do you mean? Swimming? And I said, don't think too hard about it. But if we're going to encourage this new generation to actually open up and blossom and develop, if we would allow ourselves to cut our own red tape, if we would allow these ideas to just flow and try them. But we have so many rules and boundaries that put a stop to that, that are deemed ethical by unethical by other people. You know what I mean? Like when we eat sheephead, people think it's gross, but they haven't tried it.
Okay. Alrighty, let me get you your hot tea.
Yep, mushroom Swiss.
That's yours. That looks delicious.
Snapping what I eat so everybody can be jealous.
I'll be the face for this one here. There we go. It's cafe. It's cafe. Then I got my usual Navajo cheeseburger with fries. Right, there you go. Thank you very much. It was delicious.
Oh yeah.
I'm stuffed. I'm gonna go walk home now.
I'm gonna go.
All right. So what's your mom advice?
I recommend to anybody and everybody, you're never too old to learn. Keep your horizons open to learning. You know what I mean?
Wait.
Oops.
Fell in. All right, let's see.
So
so then there's a try around it. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I would say like being open to learning. You're never too old to learn. I think the oldest person was like 90 when they got their degree. So I think take every opportunity to learn from people, from books, from society and take what works for you. Trust your instincts. Being a mom, I know most mothers, I want to say, have an instinct to love their child no matter what, even if they're not doing what you want them to do, even if they're saying or dressing or however you don't want them to do, but just supporting them, because eventually we're going to grow into our own selves, and we have to trust that what we teach our kids is going to help them grow into their own selves. They're going to take something from you, but they're not going to take everything from you.
Yep.
Take your bunny tail.
All right, let me try to wiggle that out. Yep.
You seem to know more about me.
Oh yeah, for sure.